Alright, everyone, welcome back.
なんだよ。なんか文句があるなら言えよ。
別にエミヤ君がどんな趣味してようと私には関係ないもの。文句はあるけど口にしないわ。それよりなんでよ。
She asked me bluntly. However,
いや、なんでって、なんでだろ
even I'm not really sure why I chose Ilya. It's like it happened on instinct.
呆れた。何？本当にそっちの趣味なの？あなた。
う。わけあるかバカ者。さっきのはなんとなくそう思ったから口にしただけというか、俺はイリアの保護者になったんだからイリアを取るのは当然だ。文句あるか。
Ah, the man doth protest too much, methinks.
シローは私のサーバントだもんね。
Tosaka looks exasperated while Ilya is jumping for joy.
開き直ったわね。まあそこまで言うなら認めてあげてもいいけど、さくらも大変ね。
I'm curious. I'm extremely curious what choice Tosaka thinks I'm making.
けど忘れないで。たとえ使わなくてもシローの腕は私の腕よ。あなたにはアーチャーの代わりをする義務がある。
Technically, it still belongs to Shiro.
その体はもうあなた一人のものじゃない。
I believe it still does. She's right. Tosaka lost Archer, and Archer's arm saved my life. That means I have to help her in his stead.
ああ、そうだな。サーバント云々は置いておくとして、今後の方針は遠坂に一任する。俺の考えじゃ限界があるし、遠坂が知恵を出してくれるならその方が確実だ。
そういうことよ。私が考える役でシローは実行する役。私たちは運命共同体なんだから、今後はしっかり働いてもらうわ。
That's right. No matter what our history is, I have a new left arm thanks to Archer. If he passed on while he still had his pact with Tosaka, then it isn't wrong of me to inherit the promise he couldn't keep to her.
じゃあ一旦ここでお別れね。家に戻って荷物を持ってくるから、シローは先に行ってて。
荷物を持ってくるって、もしかして遠坂うちに来る気か。
当たり前でしょ。これから共同戦線を張るんだから一緒にいなくてどうするのよ。うちはイリアが嫌がるし、そっちにはさくらもいるし、どう考えても本拠地はあなたの家でしょ。
そっか。言われてみればそうだよな。
まったく、牢に入ってると思ったらなんか抜けてるし、ちょっと選択誤ったかな。
Tosaka sighs dramatically and heads down the opposite path.
イリア、うちはこっちだぞ。なんだって遠坂についていくんだ。
ちょっとね。リンゴ手を貸してほしいって言うから助けてあげるの。終わったらすぐ行くから、シローは先に帰っていて。
Ilya's gonna help Tosaka.
遠坂、本当か？
本当よ。ことがことだから、こっちも秘密兵器の一つや二つは必要でしょ。私だけじゃ開かない蓋もアインツベルンの魔術師となら開くかもしれない。けどできれば見つけたくない。遠坂の遺産、ヒシュアの置き土産が想像通りのものなら、私だけじゃどうにもならないから。じゃあ私も行くね。ヒシュアの遺産になんて興味はないけど、ゼルシュバインオーグの使ってた宝箱は綺麗そうだし。
Ilya pivots and runs after Tosaka, her skirt fluttering.
キシュア・ゼル・シュバイン・オーグ。
I stand there confused. I've never heard the name before. Maybe it's a famous term that only real mages know. The guests have gone. The chapel returns to its usual silence, and the priest gazes up at the statue.
いいのか聖杯を逃して。
A voice comes from behind them. A young blonde-haired man asks the priest a question in an amused tone, as if he'd been lurking nearby the entire time.
構わん。初めから執着があったわけではない。聖杯が彼らにつくのなら止めはしない。
そうだったな。もとより私に望みはない。その言が偽りでないのなら、聖杯を押し止めるのは道理に合わん。
The young man suppresses a laugh. It's as if he's mocking the priest's words, as well as his own choice of free desire. Of course, the priest really means it. The blind man simply doesn't understand that the priest had never had any desires in his life at all. In fact, Kire Kotomine does not need the power of the Holy Grail. All he has is his earnest pursuit. The Holy Grail should respond to its own wishes. It's a wish granter that can only give answers that one approves of to questions that arise from oneself. And what meaning is there in an answer that one wished for?
ことに重ねて問うが、本当に聖杯に興味はないと。
願望期に用はない。それはお前とて同じだろう、ギルガメシュ。お前の目的も私の目的も、その実自らの願いではない。単にそうした方が楽しいからという快楽追求でしかない。そのようなものは食事と同じだ。願いとは自身を叶えるもの。だが自ら願いを叶えては人間は救われん。
The priest keeps looking up at the statue. Beyond it, at a time more than 10 years passed when he's still waiting for his wish to come true. He was born to a traveling priest in the year 1967. He was told that his name Kire was a prayer. His father named him thus, hoping that he would be pure and beautiful. The son grew up as his father hoped. From a young age, he was a surprisingly insightful youth who possessed good morals and wisdom. His father was happy to have been blessed with a worthy successor, and the son understood his father's joy. The son excelled at making his father happy. That's probably why his father valued him so. Almost couldn't say that word. With that in mind, the boy matured according to his father's ideals. He had no doubts. That he could not love his father and was only appeasing his expectations was a separate matter. The boy named Kire grew up healthy and sound. There was just one problem. He was always confused by what his father called beautiful. He became aware of his discrepancy one morning. On that day, he woke up, rose from his bed, and realized. He's not sure why he realized it at that moment. In fact, he was troubled that he had not noticed it sooner. In any case, he realized he had forgotten something. His father prayed for him to be beautiful and named him Kire. That was what the boy had always questioned. All of the things his father considered beautiful. Not once in his life had he ever felt the same about them. That's all there was to it. He thought moths were beautiful, not butterflies. Poisonous plants, not roses. Evil, not good. Even though he had common sense, believed in morals, and understood that being good was just, the boy was born with a fascination in everything that was the opposite of that. Nobody could understand his agony. Even Kire himself could not tell whether he was truly in anguish. Still, he tried his best. He continued to seek purity and beauty, values that he never had from the beginning. He flayed his own skin, tore out his muscles, plucked out his bones. If he lacked it in his heart, then he might be able to find it elsewhere in his body. His father was on a pilgrimage to holy places for over 10 years. He must have walked enough steps to reach the moon itself. He did not seek physical suffering. To begin with, believers like them valued spiritual penance over physical toil. During those virtuous deeds, the boy stopped eating. According to the morals he was taught and believed in, if he was born a sinner, then it was only right that he suffer a fitting punishment. This continued for another 10 years. He never found the values that he sought, but arrived at another conclusion in their place. It was nothing impressive. In the end, he realized that he was born without the ability to feel that other humans called happiness. It's considered good and correct for people to be happy, charity, trust, glory, security. He simply realized that he was born with a defect and inability to derive joy from such things. He only found delight in the suffering of others, their killing, their love and hate, their downfall. It was only in these negative things that the boy felt happiness. What made him unhappy was the fact that he had such a strong sense of morality, in spite of his thinking patterns. Having realized this at a young age, the boy endeavored with all his might to overcome his inability to reconcile his own values with those of the world around him. Instead of accepting himself and living in pursuit of his own pleasure when he could not find joy in things other people considered good, he attempted to save himself by making himself more human. He walked the path of faith and began to preach about life like his father did. It was said that God would forgive all. Then perhaps even someone born with a fatal flaw would be saved as well. But only a cruel outcome awaited him. Even though he followed God's teachings, obeyed his laws, and lived a simple life, he never found any pleasure greater than the suffering of others. Even as he believed in the church's doctrine that forbid any immorality, he felt nothing but corrupt thoughts. Of course, it was not painful for him. He was seeking something that he never had. He had lost nothing in the process, so there was nothing to lament. By the time the priest grew into a man, he was left with only one question. Why? Why, among all the lives he could have lived, did he find joy in sin? If a deviant like him felt affirmed by committing sin and getting drunk on corruption, that would make sense. If he stood to benefit from vice, if he hurt others for his own greed and used that profit to reap further gain, that would be logically consistent. And yet, why did he never once face a choice to turn from good to evil? He was born outside the rules, and he would die cut off from the rest of the world. What did it all mean? Did it mean that he was born broken and destined to inflict harm on the world? All while lecturing about values, comprehending morals, and enforcing justice? He concluded that such evil should not exist. But so what? If such a person could not exist, then why was he born anyway? Yes, if something is flawed from the start, then it simply need not be created. The world hates evil things and purges its faults, and yet something that nobody wished was born, living a life that awaited only exclusion and death. Where is my sin? The man kept asking. What he gained from his long anguish and blind faith was not salvation, only a question. It was not suffering but a pure riddle, a feeling of anger with no place to go.
では、なぜマスターになどなった？望みがないのであらば、聖杯などいらぬだろう。
The man's question snaps him out of his reverie. The priest, Kire Kotomine, nods in self-mockery.
聖杯はいらなかった。ただその中身に関心があっただけだ。10年前聖杯を求めたのも、それがあろうとしたからだ。聖杯が何であれ、生まれ出ようとする者を祝福する。それが私の仕事だからな。
それは生まれてくる者に微塵の関心も持たなくともか？
無論だ。前回の聖杯戦争でさえ、私は聖杯にもその中身にも関心はなかった。あの時にあったものは、私と正反対の男に対する不快感だけだった。
But the priest thinks. He is interested in Kire Kotomine's conclusion, in the end of a man who can only find happiness in the suffering of others. Zokin Mato's schemes, the birth of yet another holy grail, the thing called all the evil in the world, created by the people yet unwanted by them. If such a being can truly be conceived, that must be
善悪の所在、殻に詰め込まれながら帰ることのなかったもの。
There are no answers to be found in the Holy Grail. It is a wish granter which gives form to its master's desires. Thus it cannot grant revelations to someone without any desires. But
答えを出すのではなく、答えを出せるものを聖杯から生み落とすとしたらどうなる？
何？
the young man narrows his eyes. The priest laughs in front of the statue. His smile is like that of a dying woman. To think that his unfeeling man could make such an expression.
答えは近い。仮に この疑問が神を冒涜するというのなら。
Looking up at the statue, the priest's eyes are not laughing. Then, like an angel descending upon the earth,
神前においてこの前例をかけ我が主さえ問い殺そう。
he gazes off into the distant sky, a curse burning in his eyes. I go up the hill. There's no life in the town. It's still only 8 or 9 o'clock, but not only is there no one outside, the town doesn't even have the warmth of people living in it. I find myself leaning against a fence. My left arm is burning. Maybe I stopped being as tense once I was alone, but my left arm's been hurting since I started up the hill.
そりゃそうか。よその腕を無理やりつけてるんだから痛まないはずがない。
I'm having a hard time catching my breath. The heat spreads through my left arm with each step I take, its temperature slowly rising. Whenever it gets too far away from my normal body temperature, fresh pain stabs into my chest from the tip of my shoulder.
痛いのは腕じゃなくてこっち側なわけか。
I rest my back against the wall and take a deep breath. I've more or less gotten used to how the pain works. It's like a refrigeration. For whatever reason, my left arm becomes hot whenever I move. Once enough heat builds up in the arm, it gets dumped into the body. This pain comes from the heat burning my body. I have the acute sensation of something foreign being injected, and it feels more like being cut than heated. Every time the red vertigo comes, I feel a long blade stab me in the shoulder, and I almost think I hear grinding sounds inside my body. Because your body's made of swords. To be honest, I'm not sure how much more I can take of this. Berserkers tore my stomach open before, and Riders caved my ribcage in. Even though I've experienced damage like that before, the thought of my own arm stabbing my body gives me chills.
大丈夫、落ち着け。体温を上げずにおけばこいつだっておとなしくする。
I look up at the night sky as I study my breathing. It's already been 20 minutes since I parted ways with Tosaka and Ilya. Before I would have gotten home by now, but I can't let Sakura see me this winded and sweaty. I should keep my left arm's problems to myself.
コトミネのやつ、何が実生活に支障はないだ。こいつになれるのは一筋縄じゃいかないぞ。
I press my hand to my left shoulder against the red cloth wrapping my arm. My left arm can't so much as twitch, and it's as hard as iron. Okay. I'm not sweating anymore. My breathing is regular. It's getting late, so I better look as peppy as I can and say hi to Sakura.
Tadaima!
I take a deep breath and announce myself loudly as I walk through the front door.
おかえりなさい先輩。
Sakura's already at the entrance, like she's been waiting here the whole time.
なんだよ、元気ないな。出迎えてくれたのは嬉しいけど、そんな顔じゃ素直に喜べないぞ。
I take off my shoes and go into the corridor. For now, I want to rest my body. I'll go to the living room and have a cup of tea before I tell Sakura what happened today.
そういうわけにはいかないか。お茶の前に事情を話しておかないとな。
Tosaka will be here soon. If I don't explain the situation first, Sakura will be on guard against Tosaka.
さくら、今日のことなんだけど。
先輩何もおっしゃらないんですか？
Before I can finish, Sakura asks me a faltering question.
何もって何が？
Sakura is silent. She's looking at my left arm.
あ、これのことか。そうだよな。見かけがこんなんじゃ普通驚く。
It's wrapped in thick cloths that are clearly more than just bandages. Sakura may not know what happened, but anyone would notice that.
ちょっと怪我した。けど問題なく動くし、もうなんともない。 本当はこんな布も邪魔なだけなんだけど、琴峰のやつが外すなってうるさくてさ。まあ治療してもらった手前もあるし、おとなしく言うことは聞いとくんだけど。
I pat my left arm to show that I'm okay. But that just makes Sakura get even more quiet.
さくら、いや、本当に大丈夫なんだぞ。大げさなだけで、ただのかすり傷だって。こんなのはすぐに治るし、さくらが気にするようなことじゃ。
かすり傷なわけないじゃないですか。もう先輩の腕ですらないんですよ。指先だって満足に動かないのに、どうしてそんなこと言うんですか。いくら私だってそんな見えすいた嘘になんか騙されません。それとも先輩は私に話しても無駄だから黙ってるんですか。
She lashes out with fiery anger. I'm speechless at my own stupidity. I didn't consider what Sakura must have felt like staying at home by herself all day.
さくら。
ごめんなさい先輩。責めるつもりじゃなかったんです。私はただ先輩があんまりにも無茶をして先輩自身のことを大事にしてあげないのが
違う。あ、いや、さくらの言う通りだけど違う。俺、怒鳴られて怒ったわけじゃない。真剣に怒ったさくらを見たのは初めてだから、驚いて反省した。
反省したって先輩が。
ああ、確かに強がるのは良くない。それがさくらならなおさらだ。きっと俺はさくらにかっこ悪いところを見せたくなかったんだ。だから強がって平気なふりをした。けど考えてみればそっちの方がかっこ悪い。さくらが怒るのも当たり前だ。
いえ、先輩がかっこ悪いなんてそんなこと絶対ないですけど。
No, I definitely am. What was I thinking, hoping not to make her worry by telling her nothing at all? I was just trying to put on a strong front for Sakura.
なあ、ごめんなさくら。俺やられちまった。腕はなんとかなったけどさくらの役には立てなかった。
そんなことないです。先輩は立派でした。私は見てませんけどすごくかっこよかったです。
いや、これが本当に情けなかったんで、そう言われると辛い。満足にイリアも助けられなかったし、ただ逃げ帰ってくるだけだったし。
いいえ、それでもちゃんと帰ってきてくれました。先輩が約束を守ってくれたので私はすごく嬉しいです。
うん、それはよかった。
I scratched my head bashfully. Still, though, I'm both happy and embarrassed to have her say that to me.
そうだな。とりあえず生きてるだけで合格点だよな。
先輩はかっこいいです。私惚れ直しちゃいました。
Sakura seems to have cheered up incredibly because she gives me a sunny grin. I don't know what exactly to say to that, so I just...
こういう時はどう返せばいいんだろう、遠坂。
さあ、私の意見としてはあんまり玄関先でイチャつかないでほしいってことぐらいね。
I turned to Tosaka, who's right behind me. Our surprised voices harmonize. Sakura and I took a surprised half step back.
遠坂、いつからそこに？
遠坂先輩、なんでうちにいるんですか？
And we exclaim our shock in unison too.
いつからそこにじゃないわよ。もう話がついてるかと思えば二人して仲良く喧嘩してるし。まったく今がどんな状況なのか分かってるのシロ。
Tosaka sets a large overnight bag down the entrance floor. Behind her, I see Ilya standing silently, looking very tense.
遠坂先輩、昨日の続きなら私は構いません。先輩が守ってくれる以上、私だって魔導の魔術師として全力であなたと戦います。
Sakura balls her hands into fists and enters a staring match with Tosaka. No, it's more like a frog, desperately standing up to a snake that spotted its prey.
それもまだ聞いてなかったのね。いいさくら、とりあえずあなたの処置は保留するわ。私の最優先事項は造剣を倒すこと。あなたとの決着はその後よ。まあ造剣さえ倒してしまえばあなたと戦うこともなくなるから、うまくいけば造剣を倒すだけでことは済むわけだけど。それじゃあ遠坂先輩は。あなた、いえ、シロと協力して造剣退治をするってこと。で、そうなると離れて過ごすのはもったいないでしょ。だから今夜からここで生活してシロを鍛えることにしたの。短期間で戦力になってもらうにはスパルタしかないしね。そういうわけだからしばらくシロを借りるわ。荒領事になるけど問題ないわよね、二人とも。
Even Tosaka starts laying out my schedule without any input from me.
待った遠坂、そんなこといきなり。
そんなのダメです。いえ、遠坂先輩はどんな権利があってそんなこと言うんですか。
言われてもさ、ほら心の準備とかあるじゃんか。
I meekly protest. Of course, my opinion is completely rejected by Sakura's outcry and Tosaka's stern glance.
あら、権利さえあればいいのならますます問題ないわね。彼が生きているのは私のおかげだもの。その借りを返すまでシローは私の言うことを聞くしかないの。居場所を明け渡せって言えば明け渡してくれるし、ちゃんと3食付きにしてって言ったらしてくれるのよね。
Tosaka, people are bound to get the wrong idea when you say it that way.
そんな、本当なんですか先輩。
まあ遠坂の発言にはところどころ反論したいんだが、言ってることは本当だ。それに仲間は多い方がいいだろ。造剣が桜を狙っているのは確かなんだ。遠坂がいてくれるなら確実に桜を守れる。
Besides, Tosaka's her big sister. I prefer it if they were together, and I don't want them to fight.
わかりました。先輩がそう言うなら納得します。
Sakura looks away.
決まりね。それじゃあ上がらせてもらうわよ。ほらシロ、客間に案内して。前に上がった時離れの客間に目をつけてたんだから。ああ、イリアはどこがいい？別にどこでもいいけど、そこの女の近くは嫌よ。そうなの？ならイリアは和室ね。
Tosaka and Ilya casually banter. They seem close enough to be on the first name basis now.
あ、そうだ、さくら、こっちの子がイリア。バーサーカーはやられちまったけど、なんとかイリアだけは助けられた。遠坂同様、これからうちで預かるけど仲良くしてやってくれ。
I introduced Sakura and Ilya to each other.
よろしくさくら。マキリの娘だそうだけど軽蔑はしないであげるわ。一応シローの知り合いみたいだし、特別に人間扱いしてあげる。そうですね。じゃあ私もあなたと同じように振る舞います。
Boy, is that introduction tense or what? Hmm?